Top Shelf Disney Animation Studios Library, the show where we watch a lot of classic Disney animated movies with a techno beat under us. I'm going to rap like that. I'm not doing that. I am Jeff, one of the two fantastic co-hosts every single week, the guy who cannot rap. Wisconsin's whitest non-rapper. And joining me is TC. TC not here with me, but in the same state. We are so close.
So close. So close. And you know what, Jeff? It is apt that I gave you a beat and you sort of sang the words that you were trying to say because, hey, guess what I forgot?
What?
There are songs in Fox and the Hound.
You know what? Okay. This movie, okay, we already discussed this. I went into this movie not knowing what to expect. As some of our followers on Facebook saw on my Facebook post, this movie was giving me feelings that we will get into momentarily. But I didn't know what the songs were good. I didn't know if there was songs. I didn't know if we're in that weird era of Disney movies that didn't have music again. Or
well, it did play. Well, anyhow, before we get too deep in this, today we are talking about the 1981 The Fox and the Hound Disney Animation Studios picture. What are we, 24?
This should be, this is number 24.
24, okay.
Yes.
So it's 1981. Voices in there of Mickey Rooney and Kurt Russell, and we'll get to and Corey Feldman.
Feldman. I got so surprised when I saw that. I'm like, what? How old was he during this? Because this is pre-Goonies too.
Yeah. So you had never seen it. You had never seen this movie.
I had never seen it, and now watching this movie, there's maybe a fleeting moment where I went, well, that kind of seemed familiar, but I still couldn't. It's just along the lines of some of those early Disney films where I'm like, well, I've never seen this, but I know this song because it used to be in
from some sing-along VHS.
Right.
Yeah.
No, not saying that this was in a sing-along, but I'm sure I saw a clip somewhere. But I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen out of this movie. And dang nabbit, this movie made me teary-eyed.
This, for the longest time, I had friends when bringing up Disney movies, what your favorite Disney movie might be. People would say Fox and the Hound. It would come up more often than I expected for people's favorites, and it is one of the last great classic Disney movies in terms of its VHS release. It's definitely part of the Dark Age, which we will define that term a little better later. But for the longest time, I had never seen it. We owned it, and I never watched it. I didn't see this for the first time till maybe 10 years ago at most. And when I finally watched it, I was both impressed because there's some elements of this movie that we will discuss that I feel are worth tipping the hat to, but I was really confused why this is so many people's favorite Fox and the Hound.
It's oh my goodness! I think if I had seen this movie as a child, I'd have been scarred for life.
Movie. Yeah. It's strange. Even on our Facebook page, we had some listeners, Jordan, Kate, Allison, Scholze, mentioning that they have. How can you not be a fan? I cry so much. I love this movie. Love me some Fox and the Hound. And even Andrea over on the Facebook page saying it's kind of a sad one.
You know, TC, I'm not gonna lie. I really kind of liked this movie. I don't know why. I anticipated
this, Jeff. I was excited to hear what your feelings were going to be about this movie. Going in so cold, maybe knowing something, maybe having once heard "I'm a hound dog."
Yeah,
but
which I didn't realize was from this movie. Okay, I'll say this. So I take notes, as we've discussed before. I always take my notes, and generally my notes are kind of a stream of conscious, just whatever I was thinking at the time, because that actually helps me remember moments. Instead of writing down specific details. I have never written in all caps so many times because I was just gut reaction of what is happening, but in a good way, what is happening. Just as a quick, we'll just a quick abbreviation of some of them. Holy crap! Did the mom fox just get killed? What the hell movie? What are you trying to do to me? Stop this movie. Stop it now. Stop making me so miserable. I don't like you at all. Go away. And also the last one being, that's the end. These are some highlights. But
of your reactions.
Of my reactions, which I'm not going to lie, were all said out loud. I started Snapchatting a little bit during some of these reactions. And again, they all sound very negative, but they were all like legitimate shocks and surprises. And I'm like, I have to keep watching this. I want to know what's going on and what's going to happen next. It made me want to watch it more, and I don't understand why.
We coming off The Rescuers, which had I tried to find a way to say it, but it felt more like a movie. I don't know. Not
The Rescuers
not like
did.
Yeah,
it felt more like a live action ish movie than this movie does.
Right. Well, I think that Fox and the Hound follows what Rescuers was doing in terms of tone and style, and that it was moving away from the fairy tales and the fantasies that the majority of the Disney library has been to a point. That it felt Rescuers and Fox and the Hound feel less like the lighter fare of Disney movies, and that is one of the reasons I believe that this is called the Dark Ages, not so much in the financial failures of these films, but more in the tonal content. Someone commented on the Facebook page that they were surprised we didn't consider Rescuers the beginning of the Dark Age per se, but I was discussing it more of a financial perspective, from a narrative perspective, from a story perspective. We are in a much darker territory, and Fox and the Hound definitely follows suit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Look at the beginning. The opening, what, 2 minutes of the movie with the credits. First off, absolutely I guess Rescuers didn't have it, but there's no fanfare. There's no like big opening number. There's nothing. It's quiet and clouds, and then
even the Buena Vista logo is played over silence. And then you just start hearing the ambience of the forest sounds.
I turned up my volume because I thought my volume was like low. I'm like, what's going on? Where's the song? And I'm like, there's just background noise. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a moment of like, oh crap, is the audio not playing?
Right. And it's crazy. Like so this movie, I can see it. It's still going along with the tone. I can see the Disney movies that I know. Like from my childhood, I can see that late 80s, early 90s Disney movies. Like the style's there. This one definitely, while there's still the occasional little bit of rough edges here and there, this definitely does not have the Rescuers or like Robin Hood or any of the movies that we watched in the 70s. It doesn't have that design aesthetic. It doesn't have the still pencil lines are there and all that. Like the edges, you pointed this out for the Rescuers last week, but like the fact that the outlines for the characters aren't that like solid black outline. They're starting
they're more gray.
Right, they're more gray, or they're starting to become tones of the base color of the character. Like Fox's outline is kind of this burnt orange.
Right, to match their overall color.
Right. So it's getting less about the character standing out from the background and just kind of becoming part of the back. Like it's all one element.
Yeah.
And I can see that. I saw that in this movie. The animation style, the way the characters were animated. I'm like, oh, I'm starting to see that Disney that I know. And it's crazy how abrupt of a change. Like 2 movies. And we're already in this way,
We're in this. This is a changing of the guard movie for sure. In fact, Don Bluth quits during production of this film, and led a walkout of over a dozen key animators during the middle of production of this film because he was done. He was done with the Disney style, with the old guard's mentality, and quit. He even asked, and him and the others who quit said, "Don't put our names on this movie. We don't want credit for it."
That's just so
and they went
crazy.
Off to start Don Bluth Studios, which led to Secret of NIMH, which would be their first production. And this movie had to be shelved for almost an extra year so they could finish it by bringing in brand new animators and jumping them way up on the food chain just to get this movie done. So much so, this is the first Disney animated film, the first Disney film to feature the works of Mr. John Lasseter.
And there's another one.
Yeah.
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton's on here as well.
Tim Burton. Tim Burton, I was excited. Tim Burton was the first one that I pointed out. I was like, oh, Tim Burton worked on this. He did it uncredited because he was so new to it, but he did Vixie. He did the female fox. And which is so messed up in my head. And I'm like, Tim Burton drew that. That's Tim Burton. But it's because like in like the story goes that he hated drawing her so much that he only drew her in wide shots until he got comfortable with the character and then started drawing close-ups. So it's like that's why she's like so like there's so much of her that's in the distance because he didn't want to draw her.
Well, it's part of the change in the era that we're getting, that the old guard even going so far as arguing over the older Disney, the classic Disney, Ollie Johnson and the 9 old men having a disagreement with the younger animators about whether or not Chief, the dog who trains Copper, should die or not. Because there's no indication of whether or not Chief survives for a good few minutes until you finally see him with the cast.
That was one of the capital lines that I did not read out loud. I basically went like, "Holy crap! Now Chief got killed," because I flat out went, "They killed Chief. They killed another person in this movie.
Yeah,
they're just killing people left and right."
This is adapted from a book, and in the book they made a lot of changes from the book, and including Chief's demise. And the old guard, they couldn't do it. They said we've never killed a main character on screen before. We can't do that. And the younger animators were like, we got to do this.
Yeah, because it's never been done. Well, I was reading like the book version of it. I think like Copper was going to get shot at the end. Like in the book version, because his caretaker, the old man Amos, wasn't able to like care for him anymore. He was being sent away, so he had to shoot him. Like it's like, apparently I've never read the Fox and the Hound book. I don't think I ever want to reading that.
No,
because if that's what the book's about, I am terrified to read that book.
Yeah, no thanks. I'll just read the notes online.
Yep, I'm good. Thank you.
So, well, what did you think? What I can tell what you think, but just of this tale. This is a tale of two little pups that meet each other. They don't understand that they're enemies. They're the best of friends, doing everything together, and then they grow up to be enemies. And I don't know what is what are you, Jeff? Where are you?
I'm here. I'm here, guys. I'm just crying. I'm crying mostly because I read the final part of what the book is. Real quick. Crying, he takes his shotgun from the wall, leads Copper outside, and pets him gently before ordering him to lie down. He covers the dog's eyes as Copper licks his hand trustingly. That's the end of the book.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Okay, anyways. Happy thoughts. Okay, sorry. Welcome to the depressing portion of the show, everybody. I'm glad that you've joined us for Jeff Makes 200 People Sad. No, so no, I was trying to figure out, because this was one of my questions. I'm glad you brought it up. One of my things was like, I wanted to know what was the moral of the story, because we really haven't kind of talked about this in a long time either. And
yeah, the idea of, is this something kids should watch? What's a lesson you can learn from this?
And it's like, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around it and be like, is this why people like it? I do. I like the fact that the story is very much so about growing up and moving on with your life, and that sometimes how your life was as a child or how you thought it was going to be turned out very different in your later years.
Yeah.
You know, like I like the fact that Copper and, oh my goodness, I'm sorry, Todd. Yeah, Todd. I'm like, I had it on top of my tongue. You know this is a good movie because I remembered the characters' names.
That does help.
Right? But like I liked the fact that Copper and Todd were separated. I didn't like it, but I liked that was a point of the movie, that they were separated at a young age. And granted, yeah, it's only like 6 months later or 9 months later that they kind of meet back up again, but that they don't meet back up and then just, oh yeah, we're friends again, and then everything's fine and dandy, and we're just gonna go on with the rest of our life. Like, I like that they became very different people, and
they grew up.
And there was a moment where they kind of helped each other, and then after that it was like, okay, like peace out, and like that was it. But that they both are aware, like it didn't end with them as just two good friends living together their entire life. It ended with them moving on and being in their own very different lifestyles.
Right. It didn't have the happily ever after. It was a much more realistic ending of just the simple fact that sometimes you grow away from your friends, that you can't exist in this capsule of time of childhood forever, that you have to move on and grow up, and that's
it's
a big deal.
Yeah, and it's very much so reminiscent. Like in my head, I was immediately going like, oh, okay, so this is having a best friend in elementary school, or you could even argue up till high school, and then everybody goes off to college and they go to different cities and they meet different people and they start different jobs and then they live there and then they come back and it's like, oh yeah, I'm married. Oh yeah, well I work for this person, and it's like, oh, but it's very different lifestyles, and you can talk about how things used to be, but you're so in a new world that it's not like that anymore. And it's like, all right, well, great seeing you again. And then you're back to your lives again. You're back to what your lives have become. Even though you spent all that time as children talking about like, we're gonna be best friends forever and we're never gonna change and this is always gonna be like this. But it's like, that's not the reality behind it. And I like that this movie actually kind of shows the reality about growing up.
Yeah,
Peter Pan was so much about not wanting to grow up, and he always wanted to be a kid and have fun and do that. And then you get this movie that's all about growing up and the reality behind it. It's kind of a nice shift, actually.
Yeah, narratively, this movie does play in a very interesting realm that I understand. I understand why a lot of people have feelings for this movie. That this movie does connect on some level with a wide variety of people who have that understanding of what it means to move on beyond your childhood years and to look back fondly and to understand the pain that comes from growing apart from someone you used to care for so much. And I understand why this movie works and touches so many people. There are some elements of this movie that I'm not particularly impressed with, and it could very well be because of the problems of the development problems they had with the animators quitting and getting new people in, and like we've had this before where the sound mix, the way the quality of the voices or the way the music is interlaced or the sound effects in general don't feel as full, or there's little hiccups that feel like something's missing. And for a good section of this movie, I felt that the sound of it felt hollow. It didn't feel as full as some of the other movies we've seen. And now that could be intentional or it could be because of the production elements of it, but it did stick out to me at first a few times near the beginning of how the voices didn't, and it could have just been the version I was watching, but that was something that stuck out to me, that the overall quality of the film didn't impress as much, just from this area that I'm speaking. It didn't impress as much as some of the movies we have seen in the past, at least in this library.
Right. And now that's one of those things that maybe, and I don't know, I'm trying to come up with ideas. Maybe is it because of the era where they just limited in this production of this particular film and they're just like, well, we can't do as much as we wanted? Was it because it got shelved for a while, and so the whole schedule got thrown out of whack, and they were just like, because think of it this way: if it's possible that they just didn't have the money to do as full of a sound mix as they would have wanted to, because if half of your production crew or whatever leave, you now are like, well, now we have to hire people that we were not originally planning on doing, and it's like, well, that money's got to come from somewhere, and if it's a production, it's like, well, we gotta pull it from this department and this department to now put towards paying for people to finish this movie. We can't not finish it, So I wonder if that might have been part of it, and it was just the thing that got sacrificed. Or it could have just been, for whatever reason, they just didn't care. Maybe they didn't care. It's possible.
It could have been any number of things, but it stood out to me a little bit. And like I mentioned when we started the podcast, the songs in this, I did not remember at all anything besides the "When You're the Best of Friends." Big Mama has a couple of spoken word to music songs, and Amos is singing on the way back from hunting trip, which Okay, that's fine. But yeah, it felt like this shallow attempt to try to fit in some music in here, and
right.
and I did see that once again. Poor Phil Harris got cut from the film because he was going to be in Rescuers, and they cut him, and then they were considering putting him in this, and they cut him.
They had a giant bear. He could have done the voice of the bear, which I also have a very good note. That bear is definitely not Baloo.
No.
I was very kind of scared by that bear.
Did you sense or how'd you feel about the lack of comedy? I suppose you do have Squeaks, the caterpillar, and you do have the woodpecker and the sparrow who are trying to attack him, but they work as comic relief, but they aren't even as wacky. I don't know.
I think that there's a part of me that wonders, because the subject matter of the movie is so serious. It's a very serious topic. It's not something that you could take super lightly, because the movie was definitely down a notch from traditional Disney movies. There's a part of me that wonders if they're like, well, we can't have the wacky cartoony character in this for comic relief because it's going to feel out of place, which I think it would have felt, for me personally, it would have felt out of place if those three characters were any goofier than they already were.
Yeah, they were the right amounts of real. You're right. They didn't delve into a crazy territory.
Right.
They were acting like those creatures would. Hyper realized, of course, but they weren't ridiculous. I think any more humor added to this movie would completely be detrimental to the tone of it.
Right.
At the same time, this movie, it feels slow at times. It really is going to come down to your mood when you're watching this. If you're sitting down to watch something that's going to be funny and exciting and kind of a little lighter fare that we've seen of previous, this is the wrong movie for you. This is something that if you allow it to, is going to leave you with feelings and with some deeper thoughts. It left
me with feelings. It left me with so many feelings.
The feels.
Oh, the feels.
And there was a good use of those characters too. Mm-hmm. The woodpecker and the woodpecker and the sparrow, and even the badger when Todd is left out in the woods, and you got that angry old badger, which I will mention him again in a moment when we hit another topic. But the comic relief was safer. They didn't make it over the top. They didn't make it wacky. And in even having the bear, the grizzly bear, be a grizzly bear, there was no cartoon about him.
Right.
He was not a cutesy character. He was a force of nature. Mm-hmm. And not a villain. He wasn't doing anything. I don't think you could say the bear is a villain. Amos is the villain.
Amos is the villain. and yeah, there's definitely an interesting article I was reading online. There's a book out there. I think it's a book that a couple guys had created back in like the early to mid 90s regarding like all the Disney villains. Mm-hmm. And they at one point argued that the bear in this movie is not the villain because like the rat in what was that, Lady and the Tramp?
The one who attacks the baby?
Right, the one that attacks the baby.
Okay.
They're not the villain because the animals are acting out of necessity. They are acting the way that they would be in real life. They're acting real. They are defending themselves, or they are surviving. They're just doing what they would. It's not like the bear was this evil mastermind that was out to kill, Todd or some stupid thing like that. It was just, it's a bear and he's going to attack to defend himself, and that's what he is doing.
He's doing his thing.
So, and because of that stipulation, technically he's not the villain, though I will also come back to him under my tropes section. I'm pretty sure, TC, you understand what my trope is going to be.
Yes, that's true. Oh my God, that didn't even cross my mind. Duh.
I did make a note. I'm like, this is only a partial trope because of the reason I just explained.
The animation in that sequel. Let's talk about that bear fight in particular, because that is to me the most engaging third act, final act. One of the most engaging final acts we've seen in a while. It was much more. The stakes were so much higher than they were in something, say, like Rescuers, which we just watched,
right.
which that had that weird juxtaposition of too many goofy side characters, and with the bear attack, with the grizzly bear fight, there are some very well set up stakes, as slow as the movie was getting to this point. And I will criticize it for that, that it does have this not a great pace in particular. But all that molasses was a payoff for that 5-minute sequence of that bear attack. You have Amos going after Todd. You have the bear attack Copper, Todd turning around to come back and save him. The back and forth of that fight narratively is really quite impressive. And to add even more of kudos to this is that the animator Glenn Keane, who's one of the classic Disney animators, he was responsible for animating that. He re-storyboarded the entire thing. They had that whole climax ready to go, and he looked at it and he knew it wasn't good enough. And he took it upon himself to re-storyboard the entire thing, do all the pencil animations on it before handing it off to the rest of the team, because he knew how important it was to nail that fight. The animation of it needed to match the narrative stakes of it. Mm-hmm. And it's considered by many, if you run in circles of animators, if you have people who know of the CalArts crew that Lasseter and Tim Burton and Brad Bird came out of, that sequence with that bear and headed by the animation of Glenn Keane is a masterclass of hand-drawn animation. And
it's so beautiful.
Damn.
It's so well done. And you said it perfectly. There's nothing else that I can actually say about that movie. The animation style is gorgeous in it, about that in that portion, and just there are little tiny little things like when I'm actually rewatching it right now because I wanted to just kind of relive this moment. Just the framing of so many shots and the action behind it. Like Copper lunges at the bear at one point. I just saw it happen. He lunges at the bear, and there's a really awesome camera swipe, like over as he passes the camera because his fangs get very close to the lens, and it's such a nice little moment that it actually almost makes you the viewer, because they put the camera they don't put it wide away. They're putting the camera as if you are Amos or if you are Copper. They put it with you, and the animals keep lunging very close to the camera, so it almost makes you feel like you're kind of there. And it's so well done.
Glenn Keane surely just got a fox, a dog, an old man, and a bear, stuck them in a room and said, fight so I can animate you.
Yes, I'm going to film, and then you fight.
It's that, to me, is the highlight of the whole film. In watching it. Because I think that there is stuff to take away from this movie that builds upon my appreciation for this film. Mm-hmm. And I know it's this weird place because there are fans of this movie, and there's those people who don't care for this movie because of its odd pace, because of its weird place in the era that it came out of. Mm-hmm. That you can see the fallacies here. You can see the weaknesses in some of the characterizations. These characters, for the most part, are fairly stock and boring. That they fill their role, but there's nothing more to them than that. And not to say that all the Disney movies before this have had deep characters. I mean,
right.
We'll point to Aurora. She's the best example. Or if you want to go or characters like Tiger Lily, who doesn't even have a line of dialogue.
Right.
But we have seen some more interesting ensembles. I know you don't like the Jungle Book, but you got to admit there is an ensemble there that is very distinct unto itself. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. The overall cast of this film doesn't feel as strong.
And it's one of those weird cases where I do agree. Yeah, no, it's not weird that I agree. It's one of those weird. I agree that it's one of those weird cases where, like you're saying, the characters don't have any depth to them, but everything, like the story, it's like the core story itself and what it's trying to tell me. Yeah, almost feels like that's what I'm supposed to be paying attention to. That this is just, hey, look, we don't want you to get bogged down with all these, these well-developed characters. How dare you? Not saying that you can't have both. By all means, there are movies that have fantastically developed characters and very deep, meaningful stories behind them.
Of course.
I just feel like for a Disney movie, it's kind of rare or maybe harder to have a movie like that, because really Disney's not necessarily known for deep moral stories with very well-developed characters. It's one or the other, generally.
Yeah, for the most part, I'll agree with you there. But there are those special occasions.
Yep, and I'm not saying they're not.
the whole of Fox and the Hound comes down to that bear fight. That being the climax of the film, that being the epoch of the entire story, that Copper defends Amos because that's his master, and Todd coming back to attempt to rescue Copper by fighting the bear, and afterwards when Amos tries to shoot Todd and Copper stands in front of him and defies him and says no, and then the fact that they don't get to be friends in the end,
right?
That is, that's so poignant.
And by the way, just for the record, that entire scene, from the moment that Copper gets up onto the ledge near the fallen log, before the bear shows up, to the point where everything is done and we're pulling back from the waterfall, is only 3 minutes.
Oh gosh, I think I said 5, right?
Yeah, but that's crazy because that scene feels like it's a 10. To me, that scene felt a lot longer in a good way. That felt like a 10-minute action scene, but it's 3 minutes. It's just done. It's get your point and it's over. And that included the whole. Obviously, it doesn't include the to Amos raising his gun up and Todd defending. No, Copper defending Todd.
Copper defending Todd.
Yep. It doesn't include that moment. But it's still, the action sequence is 3 minutes long, and that's it.
That's amazing.
It's so well done. I do want to bring up one quick thing about the animation once we're done dissecting this. There is one thing that I've noticed, and I thought I noticed it during the opening credits, like during the silent part, but I thought maybe I was just like, oh, maybe I was just imagining it. But when Amos lights the fire in the foxhole, and then also during this bear scene when Todd is dangling off the edge of the water or of the log right before they tumble over into the waterfall. Yeah, there is a ton of live action elements in this movie.
Oh, is there?
Yeah,
that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, because like, and I don't know, like on a VHS copy, maybe you can't, maybe you wouldn't be able to see it. But like I watched a Blu-ray copy of it, like a high def version of it, and it's noticeably, there's no way this is hand drawn. There's absolutely no way, because in the opening credits, there's moving clouds, or it looks like smoke or fog, and it's very noticeably real.
There's the spiderweb moment. If that was I wrote it down as if that's animated. That's incredible.
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. That looked, just the way that it rack focuses. And like the little blooms of like this oh man, that was amazing.
And then there's a great shot of when Amos's headlights enter the shot. It's this nice burst of lights that if it's animated, it looks great.
Yep. But there's definitely a moment when when Todd is hanging off the edge of the cliff, and there's spray from the waterfall coming up into frame.
Oh yes, yeah, I remember that.
Yep, that's. In high def version of it, that has to be real.
Cheaters.
That has to be real. But at the same time, because this was also apparently the first movie that they started using CG. They actually used CG in this movie during, I believe it's when Amos is trying to smoke out Todd and Vixley. I don't know I don't know if it was the smoke or if it was the fire or if it was like ground elements, but they did start using very early. It could not be the particles. It must have been like. It must have been like the debris or something.
It's something maybe they had done with the lighting.
Right. But they did. This is the first Disney animated movie to have CG be utilized in some capacity. Now we will get more of this as I can't speak for the Black Cauldron or Oliver or the Great Mouse Detective, but I know that once we hit like Beauty and the Beast, obviously Beauty and the Beast uses it for the ballroom scene.
Yes,
Aladdin
the
uses
carpet
it
is a
for
fully realized CG character. There is we will see a lot of computer work in Black Cauldron, but we will get to that. I want to mention Widow Tweed, who is I think is a pretty interesting character. The whole. First of all, Amos is shooting at the back of her car. What a crazy person. But then the fact that she gets out, she stares him down, doesn't even flinch. He could have hit her, right?
Yep.
And then she takes his gun, blows his radiator, pops off the last shot and says, "There, now you." That's pretty badass for an old lady. I want to give her credit for that. That was pretty badass.
She was a very cool old lady. Like I didn't know what to expect out of her. I didn't know if she was going to be another just cliche old character in a Disney movie. Like, was she just going to be an old woman and, weak and whatever, and just kind of a side character, or what was she going to be? And yeah, she turned out, when she takes Todd.
I knew you were going to go there. When she has to leave him in the woods.
I didn't know where they were going with that. And I'm watching it and I'm listening to her song and I'm like, what is she doing? This is the response of stop this movie, stop it now, stop making me so miserable. Was when I realized she's leaving him in the woods alone, and like she sets him down and he turns around and he's like happy and he kind of follows after her. I went, no.
She's like, no, you stay here.
No.
And he that look on his face as she drives. Oh God, it's just that's so heartbreaking.
This is a drawing. Why is the drawing making me cry, TC? Why is it killing me inside? I love this movie.
I wrote down the words during that song because I thought that it was a nice utilization of the music to enhance the scene, and you may not the lyrics that I wrote down. The goodbye may seem forever, farewell is like the end, but in my heart is a memory, and there you'll always be. And that is like. That not just a great moment for that, just a great lyrics for that scene, but for the overall theme of the film. That's growing up right there. You got to say goodbye. You got to move on. Things will end, but as long as you keep something in your heart, man, I'm tearing up right here, John.
That's why it got silent. I was letting you finish. I was trying not to be crying on air right now.
Well,
oh man,
there's something I'd like to discuss in terms of this movie, but before we move on there, I'm gonna spring it on you early.
Okay,
it was a little earlier than we normally do it.
Number one, sucker.
Well, I was giving you a preamble here, so you at least had time to think about it. Where do you rank? Are you ranking this number one?
I'm on my list so far. Yes, this beat out Adventures of Winnie the Pooh because. And much like we said before. So sorry, TC. Where am I ranking this on our movies that we watched so far? I had to beat you to the punch one time.
You're putting it at number one. Okay, continue.
I'm going to put it at number one, just because this kind of goes back to I think some of the ones that we hit on the first two rounds. There's that level of just the emotional reaction or like a physical reaction that the movie makes or has caused me to have.
Yeah.
This is one of the reasons why Beauty and the Beast is so high on my list, because that movie just always makes me feel good inside. It also
this one makes you feel miserable.
This one makes me feel miserable, and I like it. I personally did not notice the pacing, but I know. In the past, I've watched movies being like, this movie felt slow, and it's only an hour and 5 minutes or whatever, and I'm like, I can't believe we still have 40 minutes of this movie left. I've been there with certain movies that really should not have felt slow. So I get it. It's very much so it comes down to where I was, where I was mentally when I watched this movie, what was happening at the time. But, so with that, obviously, I put that into my thought process behind ranking it. But there was so much of this movie. I loved it because to me, of the 24 we've watched so far, this is the one that I can relate to the most with the whole growing up thing.
Yes.
The story, like the core of the story, whether or not people will agree that was the intention or they didn't do it as well as another movie might have done it, it doesn't matter. So far out of the ones we've watched, I'm like, yeah, okay. I completely understand what they're doing. I know what they're telling me. I get it. It's the whole like loss of friends, loss of life, loss of people who are close to you. You think life is this way, and guess what? Nope, something else. Guess what? A train hits you on a train track, and you nearly kill yourself, or whatever. Like a bear comes out of nowhere, and a bear's not gonna, like just that whole like you never know what's gonna happen, and you just make the best of it, and you move on, and you grow up, and your life continues, and I just that hit home so much for me. I got it. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's what you're telling me, and you did it. And so it is my number one. No, I'm not saying it's gonna
stay there.
Yeah, but I'm just saying so far, guys. Like I thoroughly enjoyed Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that movie. I did enjoy The Rescuers, and I was fine with Robin Hood. But this one just I'm sorry, it made me tear up and verbally shout. I'm pretty sure my neighbors think I was arguing with somebody. And on my Snapchats, I gave no context to what I was doing. But it made me have an actual reaction outside of just laughing. Yeah. That I haven't had in a long time to a movie. And I haven't had a reaction like that for listeners of the AFI Top 100 podcast since oh my goodness, Lindsay, help me out! Shout it! I know you can hear me.
She's yelling it right now.
Do the right thing. Yeah, she yelled at me.
Okay.
Her and Colin both yelled at me. Like, do the right thing. I to this day will sit and watch that movie, and at the movie ends, I'll be like, I freaking hate humans. I just hate them all.
Yeah.
Because it gives an emotional response, and I have a feeling The Fox and the Hound might still do that on a repeated viewing. But either way, I still enjoyed it. It's my number one so far. So TC, where did you rank it? Well, please do not let anything I just say
affect my opinion.
Yeah, affect your opinion.
It's though I did point out its pacing, though I have complained about the sound quality. I don't want that to take away from the fact that this film is doing something that I don't feel we've seen in the previous 20 plus without digging for it. Okay. A lot of the movies that we've dug into, I've overanalyzed them, or we've come up with a theory that works with what's there, talking about the class structure in 101 Dalmatians or the package films and how they were, I had to say it right, hashtag, how they were affected by World War II. But this one, the subtext or textual right at the surface, there is something being addressed here. I think coming out in the 70s, coming out of the civil rights era, that there is something more here that we haven't found in previous films. Now, I've been criticized for this before by some other film friends, that I treat storytelling, the films and stories that I create, I use as escape, and it's a healthy way to deal with reality, is to want to find ways to escape. And it's why Star Wars is what it is. It's why superhero films are the way they are, because oftentimes you can see yourselves in the characters, or you can disappear into a flight of fancy and put aside what might be depressing you or making you blue. And for that, because I so much appreciate the fun of movies and the escapism of movies, I do still have a warmer spot in my heart for Winnie the Pooh and Robin Hood. Fox and the Hound, I'm putting it at my number 3. I'm putting it above Rescuers. It's always that tough thing because I say 3 and you hear bottom, but
DC, we're not friends. We're not friends anymore. This is it, guys. You just heard the end of the show. That was it.
You can watch the other movies by yourself.
Don't let me sway your opinion, but we're not friends anymore.
I will take every even movie. You will take every odd movie.
We'll never do another episode together. Wait a minute. TC,
you're figuring Beauty and the Beast right now. Go ahead.
I'm the even one? So you're taking Black Cauldron? Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Because I get Little Mermaid too.
in the grand scheme of my list, it's the matter of the fact that I could stick that Winnie the Pooh and Robin Hood, if they were on, I could smile, I can enjoy it, I can watch it while I'm cleaning my room.
Right.
Fox and the Hound, the reason I'm putting it lower, and this might not be fair, because for as much as we discussed 101 Dalmatians, that probably should have been my number 1 instead of Lady and the Tramp for our second block. And maybe as we're gonna dig even deeper right now. One might argue that, okay, well, by this discussion, you would think Fox and the Hound would be my number 1. But when I think of why I watch movies and how I watch movies, I am more inclined to lean more towards something like Winnie the Pooh and Robin Hood because they're fun and they make me happy.
They make you feel good. You don't want to necessarily watch a movie that's going to make you feel depressed. I have movies that I watch that are always my go-to I need to be happy movies because there's enough of that in real world, in your day-to-day activities, your day-to-day life of not feeling happy. I don't necessarily always want to watch a movie to make myself depressed. That's weird. That's weird.
But all that being said, this movie is doing something that we haven't had a chance to see before from the film so blatantly, and it is this discussion of growing out of your childhood. But there could be even more from that. And if you allow me, Jeff, I'm going to go to the comments section on the Facebook page to start a conversation here.
Yes.
So this is if you guys do want to comment on the episode, you can go to facebook.com/topshelfpod. We usually have a post before we watch and a post after we've aired the episode that you can comment on and kind of share your feelings about it, which thank you to everybody. We have been picking up on some viewership and some commenting, and it's great to engage with you guys.
And I promise I am legitimately trying to do more comments. I feel like it's TC is almost always the one that's doing it. And like this weekend I'm sitting around going like, no, I want to respond. I don't respond as in-depth and as long. I don't want to say long-winded. That's not right. I don't want to dive that much. I can't put my thoughts to word that much. It takes me like years to write a script. But like I want to at least contribute in some way possible.
well, we had a comment here from Wyatt Tucker on the Facebook page that first I will say Wyatt says in general, Fox and the Hound is the first film that he doesn't like. And so I guess that means you're not friends with Wyatt anymore.
Wyatt, we're done, buddy. You and I professionally, we're done.
The saving graces for him are Paul Winchell, who is the voice of Tigger, as well as the woodpecker, and John Fedler, who is the voice of Piglet, and he's the voice of the little hedgehog who saves Todd during the rainstorm. But the story goes at a snail's pace. He does not find any of the characters endearing. What are you talking about? And it's like Bambi in its juxtaposition of cute moments and serious moments, only more inconsistent. And that's saying something because Bambi doesn't have much in terms of story or conflict.
True.
So that's his general feelings about the film there. And agree and disagree with you, Wyatt. I think you can find something to agree with what both Jeff and I had said. But you bring up a really good point here in that so let me just get here. So pay attention. He got this from another podcast he was listening to, and the question goes, do you think that The Fox and the Hound can be read as an allegory for repressed sexuality? Now, he's only saying this, or they were saying this on the podcast, that they believe this stemmed to how they perceived Todd and Copper's relationship when they were younger, and being inseparable, and then being separated by their owners, growing up, and then meeting them later. Copper's grown up and become a man, and Todd still has feelings for him, and they can't be what they once were, but they both end the movie with a smile of remembering the good old days. And they realize as characters, and perhaps the kids in the audience will realize too, how quickly our better impulses can be drowned out by the noise of society. Now, once again, this isn't Wyatt's theory. It's just something he thought would make a good conversation.
Wow. I didn't get any of that. Am I repressed? TC, am I repressed?
No. I could see the argument for that. I understand you could poke at it. You could poke at their relationship and find that. But I think the key to your comment here, and whether you took that from the podcast directly or if it was you yourself, you said it right there at the end. They realize, and perhaps that the audience will, how quickly our better impulses can be drowned out by the noise of society. Now, you started this in the podcast that you're listening to reference saying that this might be repressed sexuality. I don't think so. I don't agree with that.
I don't necessarily see that. But
that quote right there, that the impulse is drowned out by society, is something worth looking at for this film. If you look at Todd as an allegory or an analog for a person of color, and you look at Copper as someone raised by racist white people, it's set in the South. Mm-hmm. They are on farms. You have Big Mama telling Todd that he needs to blend in. You have a kindly older woman who's trying to raise this boy. The inherent prejudice of Chief, that has been instilled into him by the very apparent prejudice of Amos. The Badger himself even says when he shoves Todd out of his hole, "Why don't you go back where you came from?"
Ooh,
when the revelation to Todd of what Copper has become, they open a shed and there's all these traps and guns and skins displayed on a wall that would be very reminiscent and is very reminiscent of a shed that might have Klan outfits or Nazi paraphernalia. I think that the allegory here isn't about repressed sexuality. I think it's about the inherent racism, the systemic racism that comes out of the South and this era and the post, well, the civil rights era that this movie came out in. That is the allegory here. That you are looking at these two children who befriended each other with no concept of the color of their skin or the color of their fur, as it may be. And only after indoctrination by Amos is Copper forced to be like, no, I must be a part of this way of life, and you're wrong. Jeff?
Wow, okay. That does make a lot of sense to me. I can definitely see that. You could argue that because the original book came out in 1967.
Yes, yeah.
You very well could have had, like, there could definitely be some subcontext in the book, because it's from the era, mid late 60s. You're still dealing with a lot of racism, just looking down on certain people and certain classes of people. I mean, I guess you still, in theory, have that even nowadays, unfortunately.
Oddly enough, and I know we don't tend to get political on here. We don't tend to dig so deep into societal issues. It's not. We're here to entertain. We're not here to we're not here to upset anyone or cause. But it's so timely that we would watch this movie this week after everything that's happened in Charlottesville and the state of affairs that this country is in is disgusting. That Nazis would not be. I'm sorry. I don't want to turn this into a whole thing, but it's that idea. Hearing the way Copper has to talk to Todd after being friends because they didn't care, and then being told no, you can't be together, and Todd not understanding it, right? Because if Todd were to represent a little boy of color who was raised by a kindly old widow white woman, and to see other creatures coexist without any problem, different types of birds hanging out together, and to not have that poison in his mind of you have to separate in a very prejudiced way, and him not being able to wrap his mind around how Copper is treating him now. That it's amazing that idea, that allegory could come out, especially during this terrible week that we've had as a country.
Exactly. And you know what? I just found another person online on Reddit who brought up a very almost identical theory that you just brought up, sir. That's great about it. Yeah, so you're not alone in the thought that it's it's an analogy for racism in America, where basically Todd symbolizes the black majority, Copper symbolizes the youth growing up in racist households, Slade is a representative of the KKK, and the Black Bear is the Black Panther Party.
Oh, I wouldn't have gone so far with the black bear, but besides, he's a grizzly bear, not a black bear.
Yeah, I know. Let's get this correct here before anybody yells at us. No, so that. So it's definitely, the thing is it's not. Man, it's not. I didn't see that. I didn't read into it like that, which I feel like a majority of the population would be, right there with me, and just like I don't know, I don't see it that way.
I didn't see that. Are you getting that right? That's perfectly fine.
It's one of those things where yes, for both points, the one that Wyatt brought up that he heard on the podcast, and what you were bringing up right now, and what obviously this person online was writing on Reddit. Yeah, I can see it and pointing it out. It's like, well, oh yeah, okay, I can see that being.
It holds water.
It holds true. Yeah, it holds water. And at the same time, it's like, but... and it's Disney, so at the same time, it could very well be that that's what they were trying to do.
They're finally making up for all their inadvertent or vertent?
Excuse you, TC.
Excuse me, a bubble in my throat there.
Vertent.
It still has the Disney shine to it, and maybe there are a little bit of holes in this theory, but... I can see it, and it took Wyatt actually pointing that out, because I read his comment before we started watching that I I let that kind of simmer, and I kind of looked for it as I was watching it. But as it was unfolding, I didn't see. I could see it. I could see it a little bit, but I could see more. What I'm saying is that it is a very. There's more proof, I guess, that goes towards the theory that this is about the unfortunate realistic racism of the South. And but if you did want to go with the repressed sexuality, I suppose there is this could be comparable to something like Moonlights. This is the children's version of Moonlight. They have a swimming scene. I'm just saying.
TC, I think now we're cracking in a new theory here. We're cracking in. We're not breaking. We're cracking in a theory.
Like a woodpecker going through what I'm trying to sway us away from the seriousness that I was delving in here. Well, actually, here's a note I have. Did Boomer want to watch Todd and Vixie? Hey, it's just getting to the good part.
You know, I think it's just Tigger being weird.
Okay.
Which I'm sorry, I could not hear anything else. He even does the Tigger laugh.
Ooh, yes.
You can't do that and not have me go, well, that's just Tigger. You can't do that movie. Let's do a quick little shift here.
Yes, yeah. I will say just I hope people are understanding where I'm coming from analyzing it the way I did, and that. I've certainly, just to keep things light, I don't want to go any deeper into it, but I think it's something worth thinking about, and it's so timely that it hurts.
Yeah,
it's so timely.
It almost hurts too much because of how timely it is. It seems, which is just momentary happiness. Let me do my Disney tropes, and then we'll wrap up this week's episode, because I do have Disney tropes. No Disney, no Disney theories.
Let's get some Disney tropes. The only theory I have was just what I just presented.
Said, yep.
I do have a couple comments we'll hit as well. But what are the tropes? What are the tropes? What are the first? What do we got, Jeff?
Well, here we go. So I unfortunately I did not find any real. First, I have a Disney last, however, for this particular movie.
Interesting. Okay.
I know, because we haven't had one of those in a while. But my Disney tropes are the death of a parent, or an orphaned child, basically. Number 2, the animals don't verbally speak to humans, but to one another. That tends to be a fairly one. And then here's, coming back to what I was saying earlier, the villain falls to its death. But I'm giving this a half or a partial trope because it's an asterisk because, as I mentioned earlier, technically the bear is not the villain.
But he did fall.
If Amos had fallen, then it would have been a complete trope. But this is kind of a partial trope.
Give it it's a trope with an asterisk.
It's a trope with an asterisk. It's just see further reading. However, Disney lasts. So this is the final Disney movie to not have end credits. Or to have no end credits. To end with a the end and just be done.
Okay. Yeah, I suppose we are entering the era with enough unions that more people need to be credited.
Yep.
If you're ever wondering why older movies have all their credits up front and newer movies have the rolling credits at the end, it comes out of the change of the old Hollywood system, which was, hey, you work for Paramount, we'll tell you where you're working today. You show up for work, you go over there, you move a light. That's what you do. You were just you were hired by a studio, and that's where you worked.
Yep.
And the only people who ever got credited were the stars and the directors and the composers.
Maybe a makeup guy or a woman, or maybe a costumist, but that was pushing it too for some of those.
Right. So it was very, very limited to the amount of people. But as the studio system was crumbled by the United States Senate and the crushing of the monopoly that was what the studio system was, that's when unions started to be created. So there's the Actors Guild, and there's the Directors Guild, and there's the Writers Guild, and there's the producers, and the makeup, and the costumes, and the props, and the more and more people that started unionizing led to the requirement of seeing their names in the credits, and therefore there was way too many people that were going to be listed, so credits got moved to the end. So this is the last animated Disney movie with with just ending at the end?
Yep.
That's what you're saying?
After this is when, and this is technically a Disney first for next week, but I'll give you guys a little spoiler. After this is when the Disney movies started kind of going with the traditional, the credits, the normal credits being at the end of the movie with like a love ballad or whatever, like a song playing over the end credits.
So that soundtrack.
I know, right?
The pop version of whatever
the hit song is. That I totally didn't buy all that songs and all those soundtracks, and
of course not,
and know them all by heart.
Tale as old as time.
Apparently sung by
Michael Bolton.
Oh, that was Michael Bolton. I didn't know if that was like Bruce Springsteen.
True as it may be.
A lot higher, to the point where you have a vein popping out of your forehead. Or you forgot, every song in the early 90s was sung by Bryan Adams and Celine Dion. So
you got me there.
But that'll be next week. So yeah, this is the last one that actually had the credits at the beginning and ends with just the end, and boom, we're done. After this, we start getting traditional end credits.
There you go.
So it's kind of exciting. But that's my Disney last for the week and my Disney tropes.
Disney tropes. Well, I do have a couple comments here. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, you can hit me at TC's Big Head. You can hit Jeff at Random Bell, which, Jeff, I think you got a couple tweets.
I got people talking to me this week. Also, apparently now, if you want to hit me up on Snapchat, because I might be just Snapchatting responses. I don't know yet, but
that's not a bad idea to do live viewings of and getting people to see your responses. That's a good idea.
Just I don't know, it's not going to be for the entire movie. Mine was literally just me. I don't even know if it's still up. I don't know if I kept it. It might have already be gone at this point, but it was just me yelling at the screen. It's gone. Dang it. It was just like, I'm like, how? She can't leave Todd in the forest. He's house trained. What is this movie doing to me? Yeah. He's going to die. It was just stream of conscious response to the movie. So I might be doing that a little more.
Well, you can also, as I mentioned earlier, you can hit up facebook.com/TopShelfPod if you want to comment on a specific episode. Please go look back at our older episodes as well. They're worthy to comment on, and we will engage you if you will. Exactly. If you do comment there. But we do have some tweets here. We got a tweet from D.A. Schooler, Don Schooler, who says he's loving the Disney Animation Studio Library podcast. It makes his 45-minute commute so much more enjoyable. Thanks. #no more road rage.
And going along with Don, I also got a tweet from Don because.
Oh, okay.
Congrats, Don. Congratulations! You are the first person to tweet me out of the 24 episodes we've had.
You're the
Don. First person, and I'm going to read it right now, everybody, so you all know. I am actually loved. It's, hey, Jeff, as one of your older, in all meanings of the word, listeners, I am digging your DASL podcast. #Jeff gets love too. Yes, damn it, that is right.
There you go.
We're going to make that hashtag work, guys. I want that hashtag.
Jeff gets love too.
Please, I'm slow.
We also got a tweet from at the Seahorse. I'm sorry, D the Seahorse, which is Derek Johnson. He loved the segments for Winnie the Pooh. I love the segment. That's so cool. Good work, you guys. Jeff, I really dug the disorder rumor, too. Sweet move.
So talking about back from when he commented that he wanted the origin story. He loved the origin stories of Winnie the Pooh.
Right. Okay, yes.
And he wants them in the future podcast, and I said that this could be arranged. I'm sorry. Okay, Derek, yes, I apologize, Derek. Derek actually included me in that tweet.
There you go.
Sorry.
And Derek, he tweeted me twice. I was mushing them together. So the disorder rumor, too sweet movie. He liked the origin story of Winnie the Pooh's name, so more like that in future podcasts.
Right.
Well, I do think Derek that we occasionally drop some knowledge bombs. That whether it's our overanalysis or if it's something about the history of the animation, the history of Disney animation, that I hope that you do find some little gems like that. I love trivia. I love just learning things about productions that affected the film itself, and learning things like the history of Winnie the Pooh's name. That's a lot of fun for me. So I'm sure you will hear more in the future. I hope I don't disappoint.
In all fairness, Derek, you've been a part of this whole thing because Derek came over from the AFI podcast. I sometimes forget you're just one of my friends at this point. I do not be insulted by that. You're amongst my friends. I don't think about that you tweeted us. I'm sorry, Derek. Don't hate me.
Well, I have one more comment from a friend, the coachman, who, and I guess this could be a theory as well, It says, hashtag headcanon, copper is old reliable. So from Lady and the Tramp, Trusty was always talking about, old reliable, you always say, who sound like a wise bloodhound who instilled a lot of advice onto Trusty. I suppose based on the technology, you could say that Fox and the Hound takes place slightly before Lady and the Tramp. So I accept your headcanon, Coachman.
My head is blown right now that I didn't think of that. That's what I do, TC. I world build. How did I not know this?
Well, you've received some help from potentially the devil.
Fantastic. That's who I look for in all my writing. I don't. That's a good idea. Oh, that's a really good theory. I kind of do dig that.
Yeah. I like that as well. There's a couple other theories out there in terms of like who the bear might have been and whatnot, but it doesn't hold water in terms of the placement of time and era and location. So there's that. But I like that just why not? There's no proof against it, so I say yes. Copper is reliable.
I love it. Good idea. Good tweets, everybody.
And I do think that's a good note to go out on, yes. Jeff. I'm glad you had the feels for this one.
All the feels.
I'm glad that it moved you. I'm glad that though we are in the dark ages of Disney's library here, that we have still maintained an element of interesting quality to the films.
Because I was concerned. I was really worried. I'm like, oh, these are all going to suck, aren't they?
Well, what are we watching next week?
TC, I'm not going to lie right now. I am very excited to see this because we're right in the middle of these movies that I've never seen before. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I am probably going to hate the movie, my guess. I don't know. But next week, we are watching the 1985 movie, The Black Cauldron.
4 year gap between Fox and the Hound and
4 year gap.
The Black Cauldron.
Just for the record, everybody, I was was that 7? That is 3. I was 10 months old when this movie came out.
What year did it? 84?
85. July 24th of 85. So we are finally into the Disney movies that I was alive for at this point, gang. Older listeners, I apologize if that makes you feel super old. Younger listeners, I'm an old fart. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Just
You've covered all the bases.
I've covered all the bases. So, and for people my age, hey, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, let's go for a drink. Yeah. Now this is going to be a difficult movie to track down. This is one that does not get a lot of love. This is one that's, you can find the DVD out there, but it's never had a restoration. It was streaming at one point. I don't believe it is anymore.
You can on Amazon.
You can rent it.
You can rent it for $3.99 in HD, or you can buy it for $18.
Well, I'm curious if anyone has any inherent memories about this. Well, our friend Bill, this is his favorite Disney animated movie, so I'm going to try to get some at least a comment from him in terms of how he feels about this. And I'm curious to hear what everybody else has to say about it. So keep an eye out for the post on the Facebook page and let us know what you think, or wait till the episode airs and rebuke anything we have to say. But I think that we will call it.
I'm calling it right there, TC. We had a fantastic episode. Yes. Thank you for talking and bringing up the theories. Thank you everybody online who commented and responds to us. We'll continue talking to you guys all very shortly. So TC, with that, please do the sign off.
This is a sign off.
I like it. I'm almost thinking like every week we need to do it in different voices.
Yeah.
That's how we make it different. And that's it. All right. Well, goodbye, everybody. I'll see you.
Everybody. See you next week, everybody.
This has been a production of Ghost Hat Media, proud member of the Ghost Hat Network. Find them online at www.ghosthat.net.
I like the ending.